She whispered, "If you embarrass me in front of my colleagues tonight, we're done." I replied, "Deal." Then I stood up at dessert and thanked everyone for coming to celebrate my wife's promotion, the one she got by taking credit for my research. When her boss asked me to elaborate, I pulled out my laptop. I'm Daniel, 34, and I'd been with Rebecca, 33, for 5 years, married for 2. We met in grad school, both pursuing PhDs in environmental engineering. She was brilliant, charismatic, the kind of person who commanded attention when she entered a room. I was the quiet one, happiest buried in data and research models. Our relationship worked because we complemented each other. I developed the technical framework, she'd present it beautifully. We even co-authored 3 papers during our PhDs. Then we both landed positions at Meridian Consulting in Boston. Same department, different teams. 8 months ago, the company announced a new VP position. Both Rebecca and I were qualified. She came home that night and said, "Promise me this won't come between us." The selection process involved submitting a major proposal for a $40 million waterfront restoration project. I spent 6 weeks on mine, comprehensive environmental impact assessments, innovative water filtration systems I'd been developing since my dissertation. 80-page technical masterpiece. Rebecca focused on presentations, networking with the selection committee, weekend golf with the CEO. 3 weeks before the decision, she asked to see my draft. Just to make sure we're not overlapping ideas. Made sense. I sent it over. Her proposal was glossy, presentation-focused, light on technical depth. No overlap at all. 2 weeks later, Rebecca got the promotion. I was genuinely happy for her. At dinner that night, I raised my glass. To Vice President Rebecca Chin. The celebration dinner was her idea. "I want to host the selection committee at our place." She planned everything, catered Italian food, hired servers, new dress, professional cleaning. That morning, she was buzzing with anxiety. "Daniel, please don't talk too much about work tonight. Keep it light. And maybe don't mention that you also applied for the position." That stung, but I agreed. During appetizers, Thomas, our CEO, pulled me aside. "Rebecca's proposal was extraordinary. That waterfront filtration system design? Revolutionary. Where'd she develop that expertise?" My stomach dropped. "What filtration system?" Thomas described it in detail, my system, my 6 months of research, my innovation from my dissertation. I went to my office and pulled up Rebecca's submitted proposal. There it was. My filtration system, my environmental models, my community framework, even my exact phrasing. She'd taken my 80-page proposal, reformatted it with her presentation flair, and submitted it as her own. I sat there for 10 minutes trying to process it. 5 years together, 2 years married. She'd stolen my work and gotten promoted for it. I walked back with my laptop. Rebecca saw me coming and went white. "Toast time," I announced. "I want to thank everyone for celebrating Rebecca's promotion. Thomas, you mentioned the waterfront filtration system? I'd love to elaborate, since I developed it." The room went silent. I opened my laptop, displayed both proposals side by side on the TV. "This is Rebecca's submitted proposal, dated March 15th. This is my draft, sent to Rebecca on March 1st. You'll notice they're identical in every technical aspect. The similarities were undeniable. My formulas, my diagrams, even the footnotes." Martha, the head of the selection committee, leaned forward. Rebecca stood up, face flushed. "This is inappropriate. Daniel, you're drunk. I've had 1 beer. You asked to see my proposal to avoid overlap. Instead, you took it and passed it off as yours. We collaborated. We always collaborate." I pulled up our co-authored papers. "When we collaborate, both our names are on it. Your proposal has 1 name." Thomas was comparing the documents on his phone. "Rebecca, this is serious. This is the same work. I incorporated some concepts, added my strategic vision. 83% identical content." I checked. "The only original content is your executive summary and budget." Margaret, the CFO, spoke up. "This is grounds for termination. We have strict policies about intellectual property. Rebecca turned on me, furious tears streaming. You're destroying my career. You destroyed your career when you stole my work. She grabbed her purse. If you embarrass me in front of my colleagues tonight, we're done. I looked at her for a long moment. Deal. She left. Walked out of our own dinner party. Thomas and Martha asked detailed questions. I showed them emails, research notes, early drafts dating back months. The guests left quickly, apologizing. Thomas pulled me aside. We need to investigate, but Daniel, there will be consequences. Rebecca came back around midnight. I hope you're happy. You've destroyed everything I worked for. You worked for? That was my research. We're partners. What's yours is mine. In marriage, yes. In intellectual property at the same company competing for the same position? That's fraud. She started crying. I panicked. Your proposal was so much better. I knew I couldn't compete. You could have asked to collaborate officially. They wanted individual applications. And honestly, I knew if we submitted together you'd get the credit. You always do. You got insecure and instead of trusting yourself, you stole from me. What happens now? The company investigates. You lose the promotion, maybe your job, and we're done. Date 1. The investigation took 2 weeks. Rebecca's promotion was rescinded. She was placed on administrative leave. I moved out immediately, crashing with my college roommate Jake. Rebecca called constantly, texted, showed up at Jake's place twice before I threatened to file harassment charges. The company's findings were decisive. Rebecca was terminated. Thomas asked if I'd resubmit my proposal. I declined. I can't work somewhere this happened. Everyone will know this story. I need a fresh start. Thomas understood. He wrote me a glowing recommendation and made calls on my behalf. Rebecca's version spread through her friends. I'd sabotaged her out of jealousy, exposed her publicly to be cruel. Her friend Michelle texted, "You're a monster. She loved you." I sent Michelle the side-by-side comparison without comment. She didn't respond. Jake was supportive but confused. Why blow everything up so publicly? You could have handled it privately. I tried. I pulled her aside before the toast, showed her I knew. She told me if I said anything, she'd claim I was lying and destroy me. Said she had the committee's trust and I was just the jealous husband. So I decided everyone should see the evidence themselves. She actually said that? I showed him our text exchange from right before dinner. Her last message, "Don't you dare ruin this for me. I earned this position." Jake whistled. "Yeah, you had no choice." I accepted a position at Pacific Environmental Solutions in Seattle. Smaller firm, cutting-edge work, full creative control. They'd heard about the Meridian situation, the industry talks, but my reputation stayed intact. People respected that I'd stood up for my intellectual property. Rebecca moved back with her parents in Connecticut. Her mother called me, sobbing. "How could you do this to our family? Mrs. Chun, Rebecca stole my research and committed fraud. You couldn't stand that she was more successful. She was more successful with my stolen work. That's theft." Her father got on the line. "We're considering legal action against you for defamation. Please do. I'd love to present all the evidence in court. Save me the trouble of filing my own lawsuit against Rebecca for intellectual property theft." They hung up. Rebecca's social media became therapy posts. When you're climbing, watch who tries to pull you down, with a photo of her looking pensively at the ocean. Comments were split. Half supportive friends. Half people calling her out. One comment from someone at Meridian. "Maybe don't plagiarize your husband's work and you'll keep climbing." She deleted her Instagram 2 days later. Update 2. In Seattle, things were good. Great apartment in Capitol Hill. Exciting work at Pacific, genuine freedom for the first time in months. Then I got a Facebook message from Aisha Patel. I worked with Rebecca at her first job out of grad school. I heard what happened at Meridian. I'm not surprised. We talked that night. Aisha had been Rebecca's colleague at an environmental nonprofit in New York. They'd worked on a grant proposal together for a wetlands restoration project. We were supposed to co-write it. We divided sections, planned to merge everything. Then the week before submission, Rebecca told me she'd finished her parts and needed mine to compile it. I sent my sections. Next day, she submitted the entire grant under her name only. Told our boss I'd been too busy and she'd had to complete it alone. Did you report her? I tried, but Rebecca was the director's favorite. Charming, great at donor events. I was the quiet researcher. Sound familiar? They said it was a misunderstanding. I left 3 months later. Why tell me now? Because I felt guilty for 5 years that I didn't fight harder. If I had, maybe she wouldn't have done it to you. I saw your story making rounds, and I wanted you to know this is a pattern. You weren't wrong. You weren't cruel. You stopped someone who's been doing this her entire career. That conversation changed everything. I'd been carrying guilt about the public exposure, wondering if I should have given Rebecca more chances. Learning this was her MO, not a one-time desperate mistake, lifted that weight. I reached out to Meridian's HR and shared Aisha's information. They were building a file in case Rebecca tried legal action. Rebecca found out I'd talked to Aisha. She called from a new number at 2 a.m., drunk and furious. You're trying to destroy me completely? Not enough to ruin my career, you have to dig up ancient history. Aisha reached out to me. How many misunderstandings before it's just who you are? I loved you. We were married. And you threw it all away over one mistake. No, you threw it away when you chose career advancement over our partnership. Over basic honesty. I want a divorce. Already filed 2 weeks ago. You should have papers by now. Silence. Then, you filed. You'll get nothing from me, by the way. Prenup protects my intellectual property and future earnings from anything obtained through fraud. My lawyer's very good. She hung up. The divorce was finalized in September. Clean break, no assets to split beyond our apartment security deposit. She wanted to fight for part of my new salary, claiming she'd supported me emotionally during my research. Her lawyer dropped that argument when mine threatened to bring up the plagiarism in court proceedings. Update 3. October brought an unexpected twist. Dr. Sarah Chen from MIT emailed me. I'm reviewing a paper submission for the Journal of Environmental Engineering. One of the co-authors is Rebecca Chen. The work sounds remarkably similar to research you published 2 years ago. Could you review the attached? She wasn't wrong. The paper was based on my dissertation research with modified terminology and slightly different applications. Rebecca was listed as primary author along with 2 researchers I didn't recognize. I sent Dr. Chun my original published research, my dissertation, and timestamps. Within a week, the journal rejected the paper and opened an investigation into Rebecca's academic integrity. Rebecca called from another new number. Are you fucking kidding me? You're going after my academic reputation now too. I didn't go after anything. A journal editor noticed your paper was suspiciously similar to already published research, my published research, and asked me to verify. What did you expect me to do? Lie. You could have said nothing. Like you said nothing when you stole my work at Meridian? The journal investigation expanded. Rebecca had been trying to pivot back into academia after losing her industry position, applying to postdoc programs using papers based on other people's research. The MIT submission was just one of several. 3 universities rescinded her applications. Her PhD advisor from grad school issued a statement distancing the program from her recent actions. Rebecca's mother called again. She's considering suicide because you've destroyed everything she worked for. My stomach dropped. Is she getting help? Professional help. Why would you care? Because despite everything, I don't want her dead. I want her to face consequences and hopefully learn something. If she's genuinely in crisis, she needs therapy, not phone calls to her ex-husband. I called Thomas at Meridian. Rebecca's mother just told me Rebecca's suicidal. Thought you should know in case she contacts the company. Thomas thanked me and said they'd flagged her contact attempts to security. She'd been trying to get back into the building, demanding meetings with executives. One of the paper's supposed co-authors contacted me. His name was James and he was horrified. I never worked with Rebecca Chen. She emailed me 2 years ago asking about my research methodology. I sent her some information being collegial. I never agreed to co-author anything. I've never even met her. She listed you as co-author without permission? Apparently, the journal contacted me during their investigation. I've had to file complaints with my university to clear my name. How many people has she done this to? We compared notes. Found 3 other researchers Rebecca had corresponded with and later listed as co-authors without consent. All were junior academics who didn't have the social capital to fight back. I compiled everything and sent it to the Office of Research Integrity. Federal investigation territory now, way beyond personal revenge. This was about protecting academic research integrity. Date for November brought more fallout. Rebecca was officially blacklisted from several major academic journals. The ORI investigation was moving forward, and multiple universities had added internal flags to her name in their application systems. Meanwhile, my life in Seattle was thriving. Pacific promoted me to senior researcher. The Puget Sound restoration project using my filtration system was gaining national attention. Environmental journals were requesting interviews about the technology. I started dating Lauren, a marine biologist I met at a conference. On our 3rd date, I told her the whole Rebecca story. She listened, eyes wide. So your ex-wife stole your research, got promoted with it, you exposed her at a dinner party, and now she's under federal investigation? That's the summary. Daniel, that's insane. Then she grinned. Also, can I see the filtration system design? The water quality data you mentioned sounds fascinating. That's when I knew she was different. Most people wanted the drama. Lauren wanted to talk about the science. Rebecca made one final attempt to contact me through LinkedIn, writing a long message about how she changed, started therapy, realized her mistakes. She claimed she was working on herself and hoped we could find peace. I didn't respond. Some bridges don't need rebuilding. Her latest social media posts, on yet another new account, were about reinvention and second chances. Sometimes you have to lose everything to find yourself. Comments were disabled. Final update, December now. Rebecca's lawyer reached out with a settlement offer. She'd sign away any claims to anything related to me. Finances, research, property. If I agreed to stop pursuing her and make a public statement that our divorce was amicable and unrelated to her work. My lawyer's response: my client isn't pursuing your client. He's responding to inquiries from journals, ethics boards, and investigators about research he conducted. If your client stops submitting work based on others' research without credit, my client will have nothing to report. No settlement. The ORI investigation is ongoing. Rebecca's been effectively blacklisted from academic publishing. Several journals added her to watch lists for plagiarism. She's apparently working retail now, living with her parents, trying to rebrand on LinkedIn as a communications consultant. Her profile carefully omits her PhD and her time at Meridian. Me? I got another promotion at Pacific. The Puget Sound project won a Regional Environmental Innovation Award. My name is on the patent. The research credits me exclusively. Lauren and I are planning to move in together next month. She's everything Rebecca wasn't. Honest, supportive, genuinely interested in my work rather than what it could do for her career. When I told her about the award, she immediately started researching the science behind it. When Rebecca got awards, she'd just post about them on social media. Last week, I ran into one of Rebecca's old friends at a coffee shop. She recognized me and hesitated, then approached. Daniel, I owe you an apology. When everything happened, I believed Rebecca's version, that you were jealous and vindictive. Then the academic stuff came out, the co-author fraud. I realized she'd been lying to all of us for years. Appreciate you saying that. For what it's worth, she really is in therapy now. Her parents made it a condition of living at home. Good. I hope it helps her. And I meant it. Not because I forgive her, but because maybe the next person won't have to go through what I did. To those asking if I have regrets, none. I gave Rebecca chances to come clean privately. She threatened me instead. Public exposure was the only option left. To those saying I ruined her life, Rebecca built her career on stolen work. That foundation eventually crumbles. I just happened to be there when it did. To those asking about the ORI investigation, it's real, it's ongoing, and I'm cooperating fully. Academic fraud is serious. And to Rebecca, since I know mutual friends have told you about this post, I'm not pursuing you. I'm just not covering for you anymore. You built your reputation on other people's work. Now you're facing the natural consequences. The filtration system is patented under my name. The Puget Sound project credits me exclusively. Every time someone in the industry mentions that researcher whose wife stole his work, I'm the victim who stood up for himself, not the villain. Meanwhile, I'm in Seattle doing work I love, with someone who respects intellectual honesty. No stolen research, no midnight threatening calls, no wondering if my partner sees me as competition. My only regret? Not walking away the moment she asked to see my proposal. Not filing for divorce the second she walked out of that dinner party. Those are my only regrets, not ending it faster. The best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's building a better life while they're still trying to explain why their old one fell apart. Cheers from Seattle. Edit. Stop asking for Rebecca's contact info or LinkedIn. Move on. Edit 2. Yes, the ORI investigation is real. No, I can't share details while it's ongoing. Edit 3. Lauren says hi and wants everyone to know the filtration system is legitimately brilliant. She's biased, but I'll take it.